Hey, old man, private information belongs on this floor. No strangers. Isn't the office of your cleaning service downstairs? Go ahead and get. These young workers are quite brave. Now, I just thought, it's not surprising that the young employees don't know who I am. Even if a man who is almost 60 and about to retire shows up at the headquarters, it makes no difference how I look. All I'm doing is my job. In my late 50s, I am John Smith. Getting close to 60 usually spells retirement for the average salaryman. The business I respect creates internet games. There were only 2 computers and 2 persons in the little area at first. The headquarters of that once small business have now grown into a tall skyscraper, with the top floor blazing so brightly that it is nearly blinding. When I was called back to work, I wasn't sure if I would blend in with the large number of youthful workers who had taken my place. I apologize, I wasn't obstructing the door. I was simply out of the way, standing off to the side. People may pass by the walkway because it was sufficiently wide. I gave the man a kind nod and moved aside, despite the fact that it slightly disrupted my wonderful morning. He spit out, "Country hick, don't just stand there like an idiot," clicking his tongue loudly enough for me to hear as he went by. I then used the employee badge I had made beforehand to enter the company building. I think the development department is this way. Although I don't often visit the headquarters, I got lost in a building with a lot of rooms that looked alike. The man who had insulted me was then there at the door. He instantly recognized me after catching my eye and exclaimed, "Hey you, confidential work is done on this floor. No visitors are permitted. The basement houses the janitorial office. Go there right now." Based on the attire I was wearing, the man most likely assumed I was a janitor. He gestured with his hand in dismissal. "Oh no, you're mistaken. I'm occupied here." He interjected without paying attention, saying, "Just go do your cleaning job." He gave me a fierce look to make sure I got off the ground. I'm sorry. He probably assumed I wasn't a worker at this company because I was wearing a checkered shirt and a casual jacket without a tie today. I resigned and chose to follow his instructions. He swiftly took my hand off the floor button when I attempted to use the elevator. "Hi there. This elevator isn't your own." He smirked and replied, "Take the stairs." His constant taunting annoyed me, but expressing my rage would only serve his interests. "You're right," I said, forcing a smile. "I made a mistake." After saying that, I looked at the man's employee badge. Mark Brown was inscribed on it. I pondered. Mark, huh? I'll remember that. What an asshole. However, I must recall his name and face. Committed to taking the stairs, I realized that with my age, descending so many floors was quite a task. The first few steps felt like good exercise, but I quickly started panting. I stealthily stepped out into the hallway, finding myself in the cafeteria. This is a relief. I'll take a break and then make a call. I ordered an iced coffee and drank half of it in one go, just as my phone rang. "Hello, this is John. Hey, where are you? I've been waiting for your call. When you get to the station, let me know. I'll send the car to pick you up." "Oh, right. Where are you now?" I started to respond, but stopped myself. Since it was a rare visit to the headquarters, I thought it'd be good to see what the place was like now, and who was working there. I pretended I hadn't arrived. Oh, sorry. I haven't reached the station yet. I'll be there soon, and we'll call you back." Luckily, it had been 20 years since I last visited the headquarters. With many young employees like Mark, there weren't many who knew me. I felt like a child playing hide and seek in the large building. If I wandered around too conspicuously, I might get treated like a suspicious person by someone like Mark. I decided to keep a low profile. Then a woman arrived. She seemed to have some business with the chef in the cafeteria. From her attire and demeanor, she appeared to be a woman in her late 30s, wearing a suit perfectly. She looked like a CEO's secretary, perhaps, carrying a planner and a tablet. She had the air of a competent professional. She walked towards the chef, her heels clicking, and said, "Good morning. We have an important guest for the CEO today, so please prepare 2 portions of the usual lunch, Tony." Usually in the countryside, she seemed like someone out of a TV drama. I thought to myself, the CEO sure knows how to pick people. As I watched her, she noticed my gaze and looked back. After a moment of puzzlement, she nodded politely and greeted me. "Good morning, sir. May I help you with anything?" She asked me that probably because I looked uneasy. "Good morning. No, I'm just taking a break before work. Please don't mind me." Even if told not to worry, seeing an unfamiliar face in the office would naturally raise concern. Although the cafeteria is open to everyone, she was looking at me as if I were a suspicious person. After getting off the elevator, Sharon explained, "The development department is at the end of this floor," and then returned to his own workplace. I couldn't just boldly enter a room as a stranger, so I looked around cautiously. Then I heard a loud voice from a meeting room. "Mark again? Please, enough of this. You'll get cards someday." I quietly moved closer to eavesdrop. I decided to move quietly so as not to get caught and listened in on the conversation. "Do you even know who you're talking to? I could have you thrown out of the development department in no time." Peeking into the room, I saw Mark, the same man who had complained to me earlier. Was he a higher-up capable of firing people? I wondered about the HR people who hired someone like him. Maybe he had some executive connections. Suddenly, Mark came to where I was hiding, and our eyes met. "Hey, cleaner, you're still here? This area is off-limits to outsiders. Are you a newbie? Haha. Then go get me a coffee now. Hurry up." Mark, probably embarrassed to be seen in that situation, yelled at me with visible irritation. "I'm sorry for the disturbance." "Understood," I said, bowing repeatedly. Mark seemed somewhat satisfied and quickly left. Then the man left in the room approached me. "Are you all right? Really, that guy is rough." "Thank you. It's my fault for eavesdropping. I hope I'm not being rude, but did he take something important from you?" The man looked troubled, having been witnessed in an unpleasant situation. But after a few seconds, he spoke to me. "That guy. He's the son or relative of someone important in HR. That's why, despite being incapable in development, he was assigned to this department. He always takes others' ideas and pretends to work. That's a tough situation. Is it because of his connection in HR? Please keep this between us," he requested, placing his index finger to his lips in a shush gesture. "Of course. I won't tell anyone. But doesn't it frustrate you, having your ideas taken? Don't you have a passion for the things you develop?" I couldn't help but ask passionately. "It does upset me, but if I refuse, I might get kicked out of development. I love my job, but there's a limit. That's why I've planted a bug in the current data. I can fix it, but Mark definitely can't. It will be interesting to see what happens." He spoke with a hint of annoyance. "Won't Mark try to get back at you? I hate to believe that such childish adults exist." "Well, when that time comes, it comes. Working in a place where you can't do your job properly won't produce anything good. I've spoken too much to a stranger. Sorry, I need to get back to work. Can I get your name before you go?" "It's Thomas. And don't worry about the coffee. I'll buy it for him." "No, it's my responsibility. You go back to your work." "All right, thanks." Thomas smiled brightly, waved at me, and returned to his work. After watching him go, I took out the notepad I had received from Sharon. "Sharon, it's John." "Yes, how can I assist you?" Sharon responded immediately after the phone rang. "I'm really sorry to bother you, but could you bring a coffee to the development room?" "Certainly. How many cups?" "Just one, please." After hanging up, I pondered the reason I was called to the headquarters after 20 years. Maybe he had some inkling of the current situation. That's why he summoned me to the headquarters. Now, I encouraged myself to meet his expectations and reach for the doorknob of the development room. As I opened the door and entered, Mark was standing in front, seemingly preparing to present data he must have taken from Thomas earlier. Unaware of my entry, Mark was intensely focused. A man, mistaking me for an outsider, approached and looked surprised to see me. Joe." I stopped him from calling my name and focused on Mark's presentation. As Mark was explaining the data, the screen suddenly went black with a loud mechanical noise. A few seconds later, when the screen lit up, photos of Mark slacking off at work started to play. Panicked, Mark didn't know how to stop the data and started sweating profusely. The photos showed various scenes, like Mark napping in a sloppy manner and hurling abuse at Thomas. He tried to hide the projector's display with his body, but the other employees were already snickering. "Hey Mark, it's your data. Stop it now," his boss commanded. Mark, looking almost tearful, replied, Yes, that's strange." He fumbled with the computer, but, unable to stop it, just hit it roughly. "Hey Thomas, you made this, right? Stop it now." In his panic, Mark inadvertently revealed to everyone in the development department that it was Thomas's data. "You're using someone else's data? What kind of person does that?" "Thomas, please stop it," the department head instructed. After hearing this, Mark, face red with embarrassment, approached Thomas. "Thomas, this is your doing, isn't it? Forgetting there were others around. Mark grabbed Thomas by the collar and confronted him. Just as he seemed about to swing his right hand, I spoke up. Mark, stop this disgraceful behavior. Let go of Thomas. Everyone in the room turned to me with surprised expressions. Mark, whose name I had called, looked most shocked. Then, redirecting his anger towards me, he yelled, "Hey, old man, don't you dare order me around. You're just a newbie. Where's the coffee?" Before Mark could lash out at me, the development department had intervened. "Do you even know who you're talking to?" Boss, this old guy is new here, right? What is HR thinking hiring someone like him?" The department head sighed loudly. Ignoring Mark's question, the department head came to me and apologized profusely. "I'm terribly sorry for this unsightly scene and rude behavior, Mr. John. Did you perhaps hear about this from the CEO?" Well, I hadn't heard the details, but I had a feeling about what was going on. Just then, Sharon appeared with a single cup of coffee. "Excuse me," she said, entering the room and handing me the coffee. "Chairman, sorry to keep you waiting. And Sharon, sorry to ask you to do this." "Thank you." I took the coffee from Sharon and handed it to Mark. "Here you go, Mark." Mark, now completely deflated, was visibly shaken. The chairman? You're not a newbie?" "Oh, thank you for the coffee." Seeing this, the other employees in the room were also disturbed. Thomas seemed flustered as well. Then the CEO arrived in a hurry. It appeared that Sharon had contacted him after seeing what was happening. Upon entering, he saw me and exclaimed, "John, oh, sorry about this." Sharon told me, and I was shocked. "You're already inside the company, aren't you? So what exactly happened?" "In fact, I am the brother of the company's president, Alan Smith, and nominally, the chairman." Understandably, young employees who hadn't seen the chairman, who had been absent from headquarters for 20 years, wouldn't recognize me, leading to this commotion. "Alan, I've taken a look around the development department, and there are quite a few issues." "Really? You figured it out already?" "So John, I have a favor to ask. Could you come back to the headquarters?" I was baffled by the CEO bowing deeply to me. In the past, as brothers who started the company together, I gradually demanded perfection from the growing number of employees, disrupting the harmony in the company. Unable to handle the stress of failure, I often shouted at the staff and made them work late. I was rumored to be a demon named John behind my back. This led to stressed employees losing their motivation to create good products, and the company atmosphere became tense. Seeing Alan always caught between me and the company, trying to mediate, I suggested stepping away myself. Afterward, I retreated to the countryside, running a small programming school for kids. Before I knew it, Alan had grown the company we started together substantially on his own. He must have had the knack for management. Standing in front of the company building, I had always thought from the bottom of my heart that my decision to step back then was the right one, though I was surprised to find myself listed as the chairman. "By the way," I asked, "Mark was saying earlier, I'll kick you out of the development department if you oppose me. What was that about?" That's..." Mark, who had mistaken me for a cleaner and was now shocked to learn I was the president's brother, was trembling. That was just a rumor I spread. I thought if people believed I was related to someone important in HR, they'd treat me better." "Well, you're incredible. You have the talent to make people believe lies. It would be great if you could use that talent for something more productive." "I never meant to be." Mark, honestly, I did think his approach was quite childish, but I was truly impressed by his ability to make people believe in rumors. "Yes, I'm sorry," said Mark, about to bow deeply in apology. But I stopped him. "Don't apologize to me. You should be apologizing to Thomas, don't you think? After all the things you've done." Mark, looking like he was about to cry, turned to Thomas and bowed his head. "Thomas, I'm sorry for everything. I was just envious of your ability to come up with interesting ideas. I'm truly sorry for my actions." Watching this scene, Alan, the CEO, intervened. "So, John, how would you resolve this?" Alan looked at me with a scheming expression. All right, I got it. Mark, from now on, I will personally train you. And if you really feel sorry, start supporting Thomas's work." "Hey, I'm not being fired." Mark, recalling his previous rude behavior, seemed prepared to be dismissed. But I didn't allow that. I love turning those who can into those who can more than anything else. "You're going to change, Mark." As I said this with a cheerful smile, the development department head, who remembered my past, murmured, "The Demon John is still around." "That Demon John. Mark shrank back like a frightened puppy. Even demons mellow with age over 20 years, said Alan, the CEO, laughing heartily as he left the development department. Demon John, huh? Lucky you, Mark. Learn thoroughly. I want to learn from you too. He found Mark's trembling funny, but also expressed a desire to learn with him. I'm glad to hear you want to learn from me. Let's start then, Mark. Why, yes, sir. Mark looked at me nervously. As a new member of the development team, I focused on training young talents. Mark was slowly transforming into a capable person, and Thomas had grown surprisingly fond of me. The development department now was filled with laughter, a stark contrast to the tense atmosphere 20 years ago. And here I am, enjoying company life after 20 years, wondering if even demons soften with age. At nearly 60, I'm having the best time of my life.